Hey, what's going on, guys? Mangumson here, back with another episode of I Heard You Never. Today, we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest in Destiny 2 news with Heresy right around the corner. It either has dropped or it is going to drop when this episode comes out. Back with my co host, Alf Farah. How are you doing today, Alf?
I'm doing all right. Just happy to be here.
So, what I want to talk about today is with Heresy. Either it's out or it is going to be out by the time this episode drops. We've had a few episodes beforehand. The content format for Destiny 2 has changed so much, right? I'm guessing it changed so much, or has it actually returned back to its roots on content release schedule? What do you think about that?
Um, the the content's been there. It's had its dry spells here and there, mostly when they were time gating stuff because they wanted to try and keep people playing all year, and instead it just boiled down to people playing once a week, every week, and so it made the game chronically hard to play and keep up. So a lot of people started dying off, but it's getting back there. They've instead gone back to adding all the content for an act all at once, unless it's specific like end of act content or stuff that wouldn't make sense to have at the beginning available. And so they'll put that back. So far, I've been enjoying it. Here and
So
there.
if I was to jump back into Destiny 2 right now, because I haven't played since Final Shape. When the Witness got killed, that was it for me. Destiny 2 journey over. Darkness has been destroyed. Destiny 2 said that more darkness remains, and just in a different way. You're saying if I jump into the game right now, I know what they had: Echoes, they had Revenant, now they got Heresy. If I jump back into Heresy, would I be able to play the Echo stuff, the Revenant stuff?
Oh yeah, all that content's still available. 100% from beginning to end for both episodes. Echoes and Revenant. Sorry about my stumbling.
So it hasn't
They
went back into the Destiny content vault? I thought that's what they were doing now.
No, they do that at the yearly release with the season. So you have the full year of the DLC to do that content, and then it goes away. If it goes away, obviously patterns carry over.
Patterns, the stuff that I can craft in the game, or
The weapon crafting, yep. All those patterns remain available for seasonal items that are craftable.
some
Dungeons also stick around.
some things went into crafting, other things didn't go into crafting. I think I read somewhere that Destiny 2 was getting away from crafting and coming back to random rolls. Is that true?
Yes and no. With each season, they want to make sure that people have access to the loot that they want the way that they want to get it. So they end up introducing a swath of both craftable and non-craftable weapons that are highly desirable and efficient in similar roles. Not the exact same, but similar. So there's plenty of loot to chase, whether you want it to be craftable or not. You can go chase it, and it's got plenty of incentive to do so. At least ways I feel like. I started playing Trials again.
From
But
the
we'll get to
from
that later.
Yeah, we'll get into Trials later because Trials of Osiris has
A
changed in
headache.
a big way. If I if I went into King's Fall Rape and then I ended up getting a craftable hand cannon, which I want to say was one of the okay ones. I forget which one it was. It had it
Rowley's Bane.
Zaouli's Bane. There we go. So it was the legendary Sunshot, Zaoli's Bane. Why am I
Yeah.
even going after, why would I even have Sunshot anymore if I have Zaoli's Bane? And then that lets me use a different, better, I can use Microchasm with Zaoli's Bane instead of putting on the Sunshot. Sunshot almost becomes irrelevant with crafting because now I have a perfect Sunshot versus the Sunshot.
Well, that's a valid point, but the big thing is that Sunshot is still an exotic, so intrinsically it's doing more damage than any legendary. I know that sounds like a cop out, but that's something Bungie's done over several different iterations to help combat that exact issue, actually, because there was so much overlap between exotics and legendaries. Um, I don't think every step has been one in the right direction, but that's, you know, a personal preference on some of them. And to be honest, I'm over most of them by now anyway. So,
But they're
the
not
big
removing crafting from the game though.
Not that I'm aware of, no. As far as I still know, there's been craftable weapons every season, and there's also been non-craftable weapons that have been worth hunting every season.
But I do
Um,
know if in some previous seasons it was hard to get the craftable weapons if I missed it during that season. Is that still the case? Am I going over to Banshee and hoping that he has one roll of a weapon that I have to now use a what's it called, like a resonant energy, or what's that thing on the season pass? It's like it's a gold blank
the
card.
yeah, the deep sight harmonizer.
Deep sight harmonizer.
Um, no, the fortunate thing is that they added, well, for the most part. We have yet to see how they're doing that with anything in Echoes. Um, but from what I've been from what they've been doing every season, they've also released a craftable exotic weapon. And that exotic mission has then ended up housing seasonal gear from that season or an adjacent season to drop those red borders for you. A perfect example is the I'm so sorry, I can't remember the exotic mission's name. The one for DMT, Presage. The Presage exotic mission now drops Season of the Haunted Weapons, which was the one on the Leviathan with the weird spooky ghost people
Yeah, that
and
was
the
a good
weird
one.
darkness fungus. It was a good it was a good season. Whoops.
It was a good
I
fungus.
apparently it's not a good fungus, but yeah, it's Freudian slip, I guess. But no, yeah, it that whole season's, I don't think the whole season's arsenal, because there were several weapons that weren't craftable and also seasonal weapons. I think it's been a minute. Um, but all of the craftable weapons are available from Presage, which weren't even previously part of its loot table. So that way you can still get those patterns now. And raids, if they have craftable weapons now, have a unique way to help boost your chances of getting them, because one, you're guaranteed a red border for completing a raid. You have an optional quest in every raid to get an additional red border chest. And for legacy raids like Last Wish, Vault of Glass, the other Vex one on the moon, what's it called?
Oh, I don't even remember. We're not talking about Crota's End?
No. God damn it. The fucking Vex one. It's in the Black Garden. Garden of Salvation. Jesus.
Yeah. The one that people
Yeah.
play the least, but I think has some of the most powerful weapons in it.
Well, they're all craftable now, too. Which I have my accrued redemption pattern. So worth it.
Yeah, I haven't played in so long, I don't even know what that is.
That it's the bow from Garden. That's why I was so frustrated, actually, is because I, for weeks, tried to get people to farm that raid with me so I could get that bow pattern.
It's a
Anyways, sorry, I got off.
it's a very I want to say, in to me, I think everyone, maybe everyone has their own factions that they don't like going up against, but Jesus Christ, the Vex get me every time. I don't know what it is, but I don't like going into Garden of Salvation. I don't like going into the Vault of Glass. Oracles, for some reason, I don't know, they freak me out. Or like remembering the 1-2, 2-1, the 3-4, the the call outs, and then everything's on me to shoot that box, and then and I don't know, it's
Oh,
anxiety's building up.
you do it the hard way.
Have one person solo
I,
all oracles. What?
no, there's a really easy way. So we're gonna take a quick tangent here because I'm gonna be honest, this is so easy, even my brain dead squirrel ass can do it. In Atheon Room, first of all, you don't have to do first set of oracles when it's the oracles encounter. You don't need fucking 6 people to do oracles. 3 people can handle that shit just fine. 2 people if you've got a speedy ass or a zippy ass other person. But I digress. You don't need 6 people. 3's just fine. Everyone else can add clear, so that's easy. But when it comes to Atheon's oracles, the fuck the whole number system. People are straight up dumb. Front mid, right mid, or front mid, back mid, front right, back right, and then front left, back left. And front is closest to the spawn door.
I mean, if we're
Why
talking about
would you?
front, if we're talking about front and back of the room, when we go inside of Oryx's chamber, I mean, where Oryx is that the front of the room or is that the back of the room?
No, that's Atheon.
No, but I'm
In
talking about
Atheon.
if we go into Oryx's room, it because it's set up
Oh,
similar.
always from the spawn point.
So
Always from
spawn.
spawn.
So the spawn point is the front of the room,
Yeah,
but
that
Oryx
is
is
the
at the front of
easiest
the
way.
ship. He's at the front of the ship. He comes
That
from the
don't matter.
ground.
He's at the front of the ship, but he's still at the back of the room from your perspective because you're entering from the spawn point. That's
But
the
if
point of spawn.
but if I go over to where he's at and I go to the front from when I
You're in the
entered,
back
ain't
side of
that
the room.
back? I didn't go to the back of the room. You're in the back of the room now because I'm at the front.
Nah, you're just overthinking it. You're still in the back of the room.
That's how rooms work.
No, it's not. Not when it comes to callouts.
Because if I'm going to my bedroom, I enter through my front door of my bedroom and I go into over where my bed is at the back of the room. But if I'm at my bed now, looking from my bed to the door, I am now at the front of my room, and then I'm looking back where I came from to the front door.
That still puts you at the back of the room.
But I'm at the front of the room now because I'm over there now.
No. Your placement doesn't change the orientation of the room. It just changes the perspective.
So the Oryx debate has been debated for a long time. I'm a believer that Oryx is at the front of the room and the Guardians are at the back of the room.
That's fine. You're wrong. Like
Only
it's that. Let me ask you. I'm gonna give you a quick riddle to prove my point. When you are two images of a door. One it's ajar. One it's closed. What's changed?
say that again.
You are shown 2 images of a door. It is the exact same door. But in one image, the door is closed. In the other, the door is open. Nothing has changed the doors. What happened?
Someone opened the door.
No. Your perspective changed. All you did was rotate the door and it looks closed. You moved. The door didn't.
I don't know, man. Listen, I only have about 3,000 hours, 3,500 hours in Destiny 2. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point, I suppose, but
You're not a veteran. You ain't got no 10,000 hours.
but
Oh.
we went from Oryx. We've gone and beat Crota, and now again I stopped with the final shape, and new subclasses have come into the game. Prismatic. I dabbled in it a little bit. It seems to be a Swiss Army knife, or planned to be, but then it ends up dabbling in a bunch of things, but really mastering in nothing. I mean, if I want to say when they release things, it comes out broken out of the box like Strand did. Strand came out broken, stayed broken for a long time. Prismatic came out, it was broken. They had to nerf a bunch of stuff, like they always do. They're always nerfing everything.
Well,
Why even
for
use
easier
any other
development.
subclass? There's no. What's what am I gaining from being a Void Hunter or an Arc Titan or a Solar Warlock? I mean, because I'm pretty sure a whale is in Prismatic, right?
Nope. Well is not actually in Priz. So to give specific examples, in Priz, specifically, if you're trying to go for an Invis build in Void, uh, compared to trying to do an Invis style build in Priz, you might have a slightly easier time activating Invis off something like, I can't remember the name. Stylish Executioner. Sorry about that. Where getting killing a debuffed target gives you Void Invis for I think it's 5 seconds.
Okay.
It seems it can be done really easy. It seems like it would be really easy to proc, but then you don't have anything helping that. You're not benefiting from it outside of being invis. You don't have Devour to give you health back or grenade back. You don't have any weaken effects from your melee. You don't have any weaken effects from your grenade. Although you can slot that in Priz, when it ends up coming to running a Void style build in Priz, you end up not using your grenade at all, so it's a wasted fragment slot. You end up putting it towards melee instead. These ways,
What,
that's been my experience.
what am I even
Um,
using Prius for? What is the purpose of Prius if I can't master two different subclasses at once?
well, because you're able to blend them, and that's its own mastery. A perfect example, there is a uniquely satisfying synergy I've found on Prismatic Titan between Unbreakable and Knockout. I'm not benefiting from Void, but the sheer amount of damage, especially after they actually made fucking Unbreakable an aspect that works, uh, it eats so much damage. It does. And it's such a good defensive aspect that I can use it to position myself to deal a dickload of damage with the follow-up melee from Knockout. And it usually gets me the kill to get my health regen, and I can then punch my way out of the situation.
And
You
that's
can
just
also
neutral
then
game. That's just we're just talking about abilities here. You're not even talking about an exotic on top of that.
well, that's what I was getting to.
Oh,
The other big thing about Priz is that you have access to the class items, which the exotic class items only work on Prismatic and make it that much more stupid good. Because I have, for that example of Unbreakable Knockout build, I have a class item to complement it with Spirit of the Bear, Spirit of the Star Eater. And so I eat a bunch of damage, get a ridiculous amount of grenade and super energy from that, and then I get an increase to my super damage with the stacks of Feast of Light, which I have fairly consistently because I can eat a bunch of damage, punch my way out of it, and not really die. It's aggressively like comfortable to run. It makes a Titan feel strong, stalwart, and mobile, like a Titan isn't. It feels like a lore accurate Titan kind of situation. Not impervious, just damn hard to kill, and you're gonna fucking work for it.
but can
Um,
my bubble roll with me? Can I
well,
take my
Bubble
bubble
isn't
mobile?
in Priz.
Bubble ain't in Priz.
No. But Unbreakable is twice as broken on Straight Void because you can pair it with something like Controlled Demolition, which now you're getting kills from just having the shield procced to eat a bunch of damage. So, in a way, it's reflecting that damage. And those explosions are healing you, so your health is even more efficiently gained, and no damage needs to be dealt in the first place. Not to mention you're healing your ally. So
Unbreakable
then
is
you
it?
use
Is that a new? That's a new. Is that a new aspect or something? Is Is that the one where they
That
hold
came
the
out with
shield in
Final
front of
Shape.
them?
Yes, that's the Titan Riot Shield, so to speak, and I love this aspect, dude. It's so good.
No, I never played around with with any of the new aspects really when they did come out. So I can't even speak to any builds like that because I just kind of I just kind of stopped after that. It was I felt like the game was going casual. I felt like it was going way too casual. I didn't think that they were making Destiny for me anymore. I know a lot of things were happening at Bungie. We're not gonna get into that. Whatever, corporations are gonna be
And
corporations.
right.
The
We're talking about a game, not
Yeah,
that nightmare of a fucking cesspool.
yeah. I wanted Destiny to be. I liked it when it was sweaty, man. I liked it when I had I had something to grind for. I liked it when I had intention. I guess you can. It was you go and you power up for the season, and you go from as example wise you go from 1,000 power. Well, I know we ain't been there in a while at 1,000 power, but 1,000 power to 1,010 power. The peak pinnacle power plus 10. You get from doing
Right.
in-game content, right? The powerful rewards they call it now, and
Yeah.
I felt like they just let too many new people into the end game, and I felt like that kind of created a bad experience for me. I go into LFGs, try to go run some dungeons, get in with people who said they're the same power as me, and then they end up getting mollywopped. They end up getting wiped out. They don't have the right build on. They're not putting out enough damage. Maybe I'm build snobbing here, but it's just like, come on, man. Like the game says that you're supposed to be here, but I don't feel like you
You're
should
not
be here.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that unfortunately that is partially due to the fact that while it's not as bad as other experiences I've had, it's not a very great new player onboarding experience. So a lot of these people are just turning to YouTube, looking at a build, going, that looks fun, throwing it on and expecting to be able to do GM content because a YouTuber is using it in GM content. The issue is that they're not doing all that content to get there. They're just doing it passively to get the rewards they want, and that can take all fucking season for all they care. So it does mark it down a little bit when you're trying to LFG for people as an end game player to do end game content, and then you get some chuckle nuts trying to fucking trying to use Liar's Handshake and Rat King on Arc with no plan whatsoever outside a punch. Like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, then they get smacked by an unstoppable champion, and then they
Champion.
trying to figure out where their life went wrong, and now I'm
Wrong, right.
down a player, and if I didn't come covered with every single champion stopper, I got to break barrier champions. I got to stop the unstoppables. I got to kill the overload champions myself or proc it, and then everyone's just coming in with their main DPS. I don't want to put that on. I don't want to run a pistol because pistols are anti-barrier this season. I don't like using scout rifles because they're anti-barrier. I felt like that they did work a way around it before the comment section gets crazy and certain elemental factors can stop certain champions and stuff like that. But in my experience when I was playing, I mean, because what Final Shape only happened, what 5-7 months ago? I don't remember.
Something like that.
Yeah,
It's been at least 6.
the game couldn't have revolutionarily changed so much to where you go into a mission and then you got an overload champion running around, and maybe you thought maybe I'll be that guy today who won't run every single thing to stop every single champion, but no one there has it, and you're just like, wow, maybe I set myself up for failure now because I didn't have anything to stop that champion, but no one else had it either. You know?
In its own unique way, I feel like that actually does benefit the game though, because it encourages you to make friends and actually like have a fire team to do this content with instead of LFGing, so that way you guys can run the content and get better and more coordinated and figure out, how to run as a team instead of just trying to run one loadout that's omega sweaty for whatever strike and then just trying to glue yourself into a fire team and expecting it to work. Like, that's not how endgame content works. That's why it's not matchmaking.
Yeah,
You need to
like
kind of know how to work together.
yeah, a lot of people. I do remember seeing those posts on LFG. A lot of people would be like, "Oh, looking for a carry." Just not at a GM level, at a raid level. They're just like, "Hey, I will kill ads, looking for carry." I'm just like, "Bro, come on, man. I'm not. I'm not gonna bring my whole squad come over here and carry you. I don't mind helping out a new player. I don't. I don't mind helping out a new player who wants to learn the raid, so that the next time he
No, but
does it,
lazy players
yeah.
suck.
And if I say, hey, go to plate 3, and then they're just like, bro, I'm in the middle killing ads. Like, come on, man. You just
You need to step up.
yeah.
Like,
Like, who wants to be
yeah.
the what's that one in it eludes me, the one with the controller and the operator, and there's a third
Oh,
suppressor.
Deepstone Crypt.
Deepstone Crypt.
Crypt? Yeah. I mispronounced that horribly, but yes, Deepstone Crypt.
Yeah, no one wants to learn the role. Like, oh, who wants to be the suppressor? Like, oh, I'll hang out and support whoever wants to be suppressor. Everyone wants to be ad clear. I I get it. Turn your brain off. You want to be ad clear, but
Well,
go ahead.
to a certain degree, you're right. It's because Bungie has made it more casually acceptable, but then those people are not being responsible with their casualty. Does that make sense?
They're not making the
Um,
experience better for other players.
they're making it worse for everybody because then they hop into the game. They expect to be carried because you're a fucking tryhard. Just do it. Like, that's not how this game works, dog. Fucking. So they get, the casual player gets pissy because he's not being carried and he quits playing the game. So now the fucking hardcore player, or even just the average Destiny player that puts the time in to understand how the game works but doesn't, fucking min max or bitch about Divinity day one, during contest mode for fucking raid or whatever. Anyway, like that those people typically then get asked out because their friends can't always sync up because this game is played worldwide. I mean, I know that's one of my biggest issues. Like, I don't always have my friends online at the right time, so I go to LFG. No one's fucking on because it's all people that are in weird time zones and have already grouped up. So there's no casual players for me to grab and try and teach the mechanics to because they don't want to learn. They just want to play. Or they just want to get the rewards. So then
So
people like me quit playing because we don't have any friends, which makes it harder for casuals to get carried.
so what I'm hearing is Destiny 2 is dead. That's what I'm hearing. Destiny 2 is a dead
No,
game.
it's
The
not.
game's done.
It's not. It's not a dead game, but it does have a self-hemorrhaging loop that is partially the player base's fault because the player base can't decide on shit together.
Destiny 2's dead.
It's
First Ascendant's the best game ever, and
that
El-
that I
El-
yeah,
Elden Ring
four
needs more
four versus
DLC.
4,000. You're totally correct. You're right. I can't believe I didn't see it sooner. You're right. The First Ascendant is the best game I've ever fucking played.
Well, I
Sorry,
mean,
can't finish that one with a straight face.
the so raids is one part of the game, okay, but we go into this PvE content in order to get PvP materials, weapons. I'm Fatebringer taken into PvP, blow somebody's head off. Fatebringer probably still one of the better hand cannons in the game. I don't remember if it was a 120 or a 140.
It's a 140, and I actually do want to make a quick comment. It's got some of the nastiest fucking perks for a 140 hand cannon in the game. I want its pattern so fucking bad. It's disgusting. Sorry.
Then going into PvP, I mean, Trials of Osiris. I mean, sweat lobbies, sweaty people, toxic environment. Carry me to the lighthouse. 7 wins, 7 victories, all perfect. Go flawless. Get all the loot. I ain't playing that. I ain't doing that.
Yeah. On the other end of that, casual players being more accepted into the game, we have trials. Um, Going into Heresy, I love what they've done to trials. I'm a Destiny player. I play PvE and PvP. I feel like the game's at its worst when I just won't interact with half the game, similar to how you just said. And if I won't play the end game of the content, I won't play the lower side of it because I'm not training to do the harder shit. I'm just dicking about, and that's not fun all the time. I like a challenge. I like hardcore PvP. Well, not hardcore PvP, but I do like challenging PvP. I like taking on trials and Iron Banner when it was an issue. I like taking on Calm.
Is
To that
Iron Banner
end,
supposed to be in-game content?
at one point it was, and then Bungie was like, okay, this does not help anybody that plays any PvP at all, so we're gonna not do that anymore.
What was so hard about Iron
um,
Banana? Because I didn't think Iron Banana was ever hard.
it wasn't hard. It was just the issues with the way they did the reputation gains. It was so fucking problematic that people started lagging and like forcibly lagging, some people cheating, and overall, just people started sweating so much harder than they did in literally any other game. Absurd. And it just caused everybody to hate Iron Banner because all it was frustrating matches where you felt robbed even if you won, or just stomp out losses where you felt robbed for playing the game. It was a joke most of the time, and it had exceptional loot, occasionally a great gun for PvP, which was already hemorrhaging players by the dozen. So it was just not a good sustainable way, and they were like, okay, let's try not that. I've played some Banner since then. It's Banner. I don't know. I feel like for where you and I used to back in the day play PvP, it's still Banner. You'll have matches where you just enjoy them because you're playing Banner, and sometimes Banner's fun. And then you'll have matches where you remember it's Banner. Right. Just like, right. Game
Is
mode is annoying because people exist and they just treat everything like it's trials. Got it. Now there's 6 of
Yeah,
them.
that's another feeling that I got with playing PvP on the later side of before walking away. Is every PvP match, no matter what environment I was in, I felt like I had to go super sweat mode. If I wasn't bringing my best, I should have stayed home.
Yeah.
I couldn't go in there and have fun.
I
Couldn't try out new loadouts. Couldn't try out new builds.
No, I feel like that was mostly relegated to private matches, which I've had a lot of fun with to a certain degree. Some of my friends did not always handle that well because they made it more about beating me than what it was supposed to be. And then it got to some really annoying shit because there's only one of me, and it's real easy to kill one of me in like 0.2 seconds with some super cheesy shit. But I digress. That's not what this is about.
Sounds like you're talking
Um,
about sidearms. Like you don't like sidearms or something. That's.
I just sidearms were a big frustration for a long time. I don't care about sidearms anymore.
Well,
I Let me
now
put it this
sidearms
way.
have tracking. You know, with
You'd be surprised how little that doesn't matter to me. I can crush sidearms. Let me put it this way. I've had to deal with someone crushing on the sentient arc soul from Getaway Artist and a lightweight frame shotgun where they literally just ran straight W key into me around a corner, pulled the shotgun, and I died to either the shotgun or the turret. No in between. I always died. It was a 100% success rate, and it was literally just. It was bad, dude. It was 20 minutes straight of me dying in 0.25 seconds. I was pissed. I was like, this is what you're doing to have fun in the game? Like, yeah, I'm winning. I'm like, yeah, winning's more important right now? They were like, yeah. I'm like,
Hey, Ricky Bobby said
I was
it, man. If
pissed.
you're not first, then you're last.
We had to get there, though. We had to get to a literal non-engagement meta via my assist outside of longer than 0.25 seconds.
Well, okay, so they did changes to subclasses. They did changes to weapon crafting. They changed a bunch of stuff. If I wanted to get back into Destiny, right? Dexter, Destiny. That's I want all that to come together. New
Well,
blood.
you know, I was meant to say, like, like it's still murder in its own way.
If I wanted to get back into Destiny 2 right now, is it a good? Is will could it be a good experience for me? Is the have they fixed the onboarding for new players? Could I guess I'm not really a new player. I don't know how that whole new player experience works. But as a returning veteran, how easy would it be for me to jump back into the game? Am I gonna be able to understand what's happening here? Going into now Heresy with now I've missed 2 episodes and potentially a season. I don't know. I don't know if I'm still in the same season. I don't know how that's going.
No, you're good. It is a different episode. Starting tomorrow, we'd be going into the second act, um, of the third episode. The If you're going in as a solo, like I'm not, none of my friends play anymore. Like I'm going back just to see see how the game is to try and pull people back. It's gonna be an easier onboarding process than it would have been in previous situations, especially because of the introduction of like fire team power. I will say if you are gonna try and get back into Destiny, have a friend that will either actively plays Destiny or is gonna jump back in with you, just because it does make doing content easier because you're not trying to solo things like a dungeon before you realize it's a dungeon quest, because it doesn't say dungeon quest until it just says complete the activity, and then later they started saying complete the dungeon. um I don't remember where that cutoff is though, so I'm just warning against both, to be honest. I will also say, as a new player, it's not gonna hold your hand very well, but it is going to help you understand, like, there's plenty to do here. You are going to want to look into all of this. Because just in the first starting mission, which I do, obviously, I've been playing the game forever, so I know how to play the game. But I do go back and play the quote unquote new light mission every now and then. I literally just nuke one of my characters and start over, just to keep that as a perspective, because I know what to do. Doesn't mean everyone does. I want to know what they're dealing with, you know. Um it does give you plenty of loot by the end of that, to where you can change at least 1 or 2 pieces of armor. You're getting a new weapon in each slot, and by the end of that, you are given an exotic weapon just for completing the quote unquote new light storyline. Its weapon and its catalyst, which are both great introductions, I feel like. Um, from there, it also even helps you get into build crafting the first time you go to the tower, because it, well, has you talk to Ikora, who has you pick up an exotic, or a quest from her that gives you an exotic that matches what Bungie feels like is a good match for each subclass leading into it, being, Arc Solar Void. Um, you can do those as a returning player or a new light, and it does both. I think they're fairly good exotics for either case. You just gotta read them when you're trying to use them in the context of the quest, because it doesn't tell you how to build craft. It just goes, hey, exotics do a thing. Here's one. Do a thing. And it doesn't tell you what that thing is. You're just like, okay, it does purple. And they're like, no, it does explosions. Like, but purple. No. Yeah, it's not as handholdy as it probably should be for how important that can become, but it does at least tell you, like, this game isn't black and white. There's plenty of gray, and we expect you to exploit it.
Well, hopefully, me going, I guess I'll give Heresy a try. I'll see if I could jump back into it, see if I can get my feet wet back into Destiny 2 community and see how this new whole act thing is popping out ahead of, I want to say, the next thing is Frontiers or Apollo. I think something of that nature. And then,
Sorry, I was
yeah,
just
go
going to
ahead.
explain. Frontiers is the code name for the next year of Destiny post Final Shape. Apollo is the next thing we should be receiving. I want to say in June-ish. I don't know. Whenever Heresy ends, we're supposed
Oh.
to be going into. I think it's called Apollo, or it's still code name Apollo. Actually, we should be getting a dev stream about it soon, so I'll keep you updated.
All right, so that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you for being on here with me, Boo, and covering Destiny 2 and its latest, greatest topics that's going on within the Destiny 2 community.
Thanks for having me. I glad I could help.
So for all you guys listening at home or watching on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Hit a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Hit a thumbs down if you didn't, and I will see you in the next one.